With Pokemon Presents right around the corner, we have another custom set here for Pokemon Pocket from Cuptinice. Shout out to them for creating this magnificent custom set that we're going to review today. And hopefully it might even reference, or maybe what's the word I'm looking for? Future sites. That's not the word. That's not even close to being the word. It might indicate set A4, or it could just be copium at this point. Hey guys, I'm Zen. Welcome to the channel. And again, this set was created by Cuptinice, all custom cards. You're here. Let's get into it. It's amazing. Shattered Harmony, Reshiram, and Zekrom. And we're just going to read a couple things. Hello, this is my custom. I can't read. I can't read at all, bro. Hello, this is my concept for cards used on the Unova region, as well as Gen 1 through 4. This set features over 250 cards, you guys. So we're going to be here for a good time. Some might even say a long time. 8 cards in total, and they will be ordered by their type. So if we look over here, we have a total of 189 brand new cards, 2 crowns, a bunch of shinies, and a bunch of stars. I do want to point out that Cuptinice is one of the creators that also creates promo cards. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see some more new cards in the promo section. So with that being said, real quick show of hands. Are you ripping the Reshiram pack or are you ripping the Zekrom pack? Personally, I'm a Zekrom boy. Terrible, baby, all day. You guys let me know in the comments right now. Z's for Zekrom, R's for Reshiram. Let me just see it down here. Just a bunch of Z's and R's, baby. Let's get it. All right, we're scrolling into it. Oh, speaking of which, there's the promo I was talking about. Get this. I can't read that because it's so tiny. So stick around to the end so we can actually find out what this card does. There's a Zoroark here. I don't know what else is a new card. This is very spicy, bro. This is so cool. Zoroark cards, Emolga, Wonder Picks. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is so good. All right, we're going into grass first. We have a Hoppip that retreats for free. First of all, a basic Pokemon that retreats for free. Spectacular. I love it. For grass types, this is a match. It doesn't even matter what this Pokemon does. It just says, like, for me, it's like, hey, you can probably put this with a fossil deck, right? A Rampardos, you don't even need to like bring anything else. Just lead Hoppip, run your Ionos, your Research, your Eevee, Sylveons, whatever. Get this guy going. And then once you have your Rampardos live, you could just retreat for free. But if you're not going for that, it's a 60 HP, tackles for 20, evolves into Skiploom for 70 HP, spinning attack for 30, and then Jump Luff here is a stage 2, 90 HP, which is pretty low. But again, it does retreat for free, and it has an attacking move that deals 60 damage with 1 energy called Fluffy Breeze. This attack also does 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So it's actually 90 damage on the board. That's pretty sick. Yo, you single-handedly took one of the worst Pokemon. I'm sorry, everyone's thinking it. I'll say it. We're all thinking it. And you actually made it a significant like threat and actually good Pokemon, in my opinion. I think Hoppip and the Jump Lift line is one of the worst, but the no retreat and this attack is pretty solid. What do you guys think? All right, next up is Yanma that flaps for 10, which is, I think, the same exact one that we have, just different art. Am I wrong? And then we have a Yanmega that is not an EX for 110 HP. A Leaf Cape turns this into 40. And it has the move Wide Wings. Again, 2 colorless, 40 plus. If you have more cards in your hand than your opponent, this attack does 60 more damage. Oh my God, that's so good. That's so good. I can imagine you play this in a deck with a red card, because if your opponent has a big hand, you could just guarantee, or even Mars, right? You guarantee they go down to 3. And if you have at least 4 cards, you're hitting for 100 for 2 energy. I think Yanmega red card is a nasty combo. Huge fan of that. So Yanmega Sylveon EX, a little bit. Moving on, we're going into Snivy. We might actually see our first EX here. Now, I don't know. I'd only imagine it could be Serperior EX. So let's see what this Snivy does. Leaf Blade. 10 plus, flip a coin if heads, 20 more damage. It's pretty solid. And now let's move on to our next one. Yup, you guessed it right, guys. We have ourselves Serperior X, but let's look at Servine first. 80 HP, Vine Whip 30. Solid. Okay, Serperior EX, 170 HP, you guys. Okay, Pretty solid. Coil for 1 colorless, 20 damage. During your next turn, this Pokemon's attacks do 60 more damage. Oh my god. Do you guys know what that means? Do you guys know what that means? Let's just say you're going first or second. It doesn't even matter. Let me paint you a picture. You guys know I'm a fantastic artist. Your rare candy, Serperior EX, you give an energy, you have 1 energy on this. You coil for 20. Next turn, you give another grass energy, you coil for 80, okay? Next turn, you give another grass energy and you coil for 160, bro. During your next turn, this Pokemon's attacks do 60 more damage. However, after that third attack where you just Leaf Tornadoed for 160, it resets and your coil goes down to 20 and your Leaf Tornado goes to 100. Essentially, you have to keep using coil, which is pretty solid and it makes sense, right? You keep coiling up. Oh my god, this is so like official with the anime and the actual game of like what Serperior does. This is the first EX we're seeing today, and I'm just gonna say it. This is probably the best concept I've seen ever, right? And I've seen a lot. Maybe I'm just having amnesia, right? But this feels like a very good Pokemon card, man. Oh my god, it gives me Primarina EX vibes. Yeah, it's a grass Primarina, but better. Good call. That's solid, bro. Everybody, round of applause to Cuptinice for this one already. All right, Pansage here, 60 HP, scratches for 20, nothing crazy. Simisage, 90, Giga Impact, 110 for 3 energy. During your next turn, they can attack. Solid, whatever. Swaddle, Grass Munch for 20, 50 HP. I don't really like that 50 HP because like a Charmander from set 1 one-shots this, a Skarmory one-shots this, a Zoroark going second one-shots. Like, so that's kind of an issue. Unless you evolve into Swadloon, then your HP is at 80 and you could Bug Bite for 30. Pretty solid, nothing too crazy. And then our first ability, Leavanny, you guys. Blanket Weaver. Your active grass Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent. This effect doesn't... Oh man, I was hoping for the stack. So real quick, do you know what this kind of says to me at least? Now, this isn't official. And also, yeah, I see another EX right there, which we're going to talk about. I completely skipped it. But Leavanny's ability essentially says Leaf Cape kind of feels like a plus 60 HP. Think about it, really. So if you give a Leaf Cape to Leavanny, it goes to 150, right? But essentially, that's kind of like a 180 HP. You're going to need 180 damage in order to knock out the Leavanny, which is pretty solid, honestly. And that's just not the Leavanny. Like it synergizes with all other grass types. I think this is a pretty good ability. I don't know how meta this would be, but this is pretty solid. Next, we have Cuptinice, Rolling Tackle for 20, 50 HP, and then Whimsicott EX. A stage 1 at 130, retreats for 0. That is very important. Move over Starmie EX. There's a new sheriff in town. It has the move Trick Wind. 2 grass energies. Move all damage from one of your benched Pokemon to your opponent's... Whoa, dude. What is this? Oh my god. What do you play this with? Oh my god. You have to play this with something with massive HP. I'm crazy. You know what I would play this with? Hold on. I'm going to share with you guys exactly what I would play this with. Let me pull it up real quick. Let's see if anybody else thinks like I do. All right, right here. I would play this with Conkeldurr, Guts, right? And the idea in my head is you actually just run grass energy. You would maybe need a leaf. This is a horrible strategy, but just let me just explain this real quick. If you Guts, you always survive off of 10 HP, right? Dusknoir is another good option. You always survive off of 10 HP. I think Dusknoir actually is a better option. But if you retreat this guy and then Trick Wind, you're guaranteed to attack for 140. I think Dusknoir actually makes more sense. Maybe even a Dusknoir and a Conkeldurr just for both. Listen, I think it's funny. I think, yeah, listen. I think this is a troll Pokemon right here. This is a troll EX. This is our second EX. Cuptinice, is it safe to assume we're getting 10 EXs in this set? Maybe more? I think this is pretty solid though. Serperior is better in my opinion. All right, let's keep it going. Petilil flops for 10, 60 HP, solid. Lilligant, Petal Dance, flip 3 coins. This attack does 40 damage for each head. Not too bad. I'm not really a huge fan of Gamba. 10 EXs, okay. Maractus, I love this Pokemon because the name is just so much fun to say. look at my Maractus. All right, has HP 100, pin missile, flip 4 coins, another 4 coin flipper. This attack does 30 damage for each heads. I would probably play this with Serperior non-EX just to get the 1 energy on these coin flip variants, and then also throw in a Celebi in the back. So 1 energy on Lilligant, 1 energy on Maractus, and then all your other energy on Celebi, and it's a full-on coin flip Gamba deck. If they can't one-hit KO Wims, they can't win. Exactly. So yeah, no, I think this with your Dusknoir is pretty solid because oh my god, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. My mind went straight to Conkeldurr. But if you move all this, imagine you have a Leavanny and a Leaf Cape. Okay, guys? So again, you're at 160. You're technically at 190. They would need to one-hit KO you at 190. And if they can't do that, you just take all this damage and put it onto your Dusknoir. Oh my god, that is so toxic. I might make videos about these custom sets and just make custom decks for cards that will never exist or might not exist. You never know. Next up is Deerling, rear kick for 20, solid 60 HP. Sawsbuck, Horn Leech, 70 for 3 energy, retreats for 2, 100 HP, but it also recovers for 30, so take it as you will. Honestly, all grass Pokemon aren't looking too bad because of this card right here, Leavanny. Like, even though we're seeing an HP of 100, having access to Leaf Cape and that Leavanny's ability is pretty solid. Carablast, 60, Reckless Charge for 20. It does 10 to itself. Amoonguss, oh my god. Puts their opponents to sleep with Spore, makes sense. And then Amoonguss, 90, Miracle Powder, 40. Flip a coin if heads, choose a special condition. The defending Pokemon is now affected, but nah, bro, no, that's so good. How do you not just choose Paralysis over and over? I think everybody plays Nurse Joy if this Pokemon exists. I think everybody does. All right, Shelmet next. If this Pokemon has any energy attached, it has no retreat cost. Okay, so it's literally the pod guy. The Lissapod's pre-evo. Whimsipod? I can't remember its name. Next up is a Selgor. 90 HP, Ninja Tornado for 2 energy, 60 damage. If this Pokemon moved from your bench to the active spot this turn, this attack costs 1 energy less. Oh, you run this with the Hoppip line, you say? Is that what you're telling me? This runs with the Hoppip line. Okay. Wimpod, that's the name. Thank you. And then we have Virizion. 90 HP, Giga Drain. What is up with all these attacks only costing 1 energy? Grass is eating so well in this set. Heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you read something like that, so essentially this is a basic Kabutops. Bro, what? Bro, with Leaf Cape and Leavanny on the bench, Virizion is chilling. This is so good. Oh man, yeah, same here. I love these set reviews. I live for them. What's up, Ben? Welcome on in. All right, we're moving on to Fire. Guys, get ready. This is the Fire type. Ponyta, takedown for 50 as a basic Pokemon. It does require 2 energy. This Pokemon does 10 to itself. That's a lot of damage, but also like it's 2 energy. And then Rapidash, Fire main for 90. I think that's pretty good. I think Rapidash might be actually really good because if you could evolve into your Rapidash, it's essentially Ninetales without discarding energy. And with Blaine, it deals 120. So I feel like that's actually pretty solid. Then we have a Numel here, flares for 30, nothing too crazy. Camerupt, Steaming Stomp for 4 fire energy for 120. I'll say everyone's thinking it. That's horrible. Unless there's a way to ramp up fire energy rather quickly. That feels pretty bad. Victini's a basic mythical for 70 HP, 100 damage for 1 energy. 1 energy, 100 damage, bro. Flip 2 coins. If either of them are tails, this attack does nothing. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. Could you imagine 1 energy, 100 damage? Which is the better Gamba Pokemon, you guys? Real quick. Is it Victini or is it Celebi EX? Oh man. All right, next up we have Tepig for 70 HP, not too bad. It ramps for 40, however it is 2 energy. A lot of the grass starters from the original sets also require 2 energy, so it's not that great in my opinion, but the HP is pretty solid. It means it will survive unless you're getting hit by a 50 damaging move, water type move turn 1, because then you'll take the weakness as well, right? All right, moving on. Oh, I really thought we were going to see an EX. Okay, Pignite, Combustion for 60. It is what it is. And then Emboar is 160. Heat Crash is 200. Move over. Charizard EX. Crimson Zard, there's a new sheriff in town. Yo, Benny, thank you so much for re-upping and becoming a member. Welcome to the squad, man. Appreciate you. All right, so real quick, while the music plays, Emboar, would you guys think this is better than Crimson Sword? I feel like you might play the Tepic line with Moltres, but also maybe you don't. Maybe you play it with non-EXs, because you can play this with the brand new Flareon, the non-EX. Yeah, discarding all is kind of an issue, but this guarantees. So this is what I'm thinking. This is where my head's at, right? You use your Flareon to get 1 point on the board, and then have Sabrina's in your hand. Once you get your Emboar online, you Sabrina into their EX and just win the whole game. Yeah, I guess you're right. That makes sense. All right, next up is Pansear, 60 HP combustion for 20, Eat Tackle. This Pokemon does 10 damage to itself. Yo, Benny, thank you so much for the gifted. I appreciate you so much, man. I'll do the sound bites after we cover this whole set real quick, because that'll take a good couple minutes off. All right, Simisear, Heat Tackle 90. This Pokemon does 10 damage to itself. It's not bad. It's pretty, I think it's pretty decent. It's better than the other one that says, hey, you can't attack, right? However, I think the other one also retreats for 1, so maybe you could run the Fossil Tech on that. Darumaka's 80 HP as a basic, which is solid. Retreats for 2, 2 energy, not so great. Combustion. And then we have Flare Blitz 120, Darmanitan 130 HP, retreats for 3. Discard all fire energy from this Pokemon. So as of right now, a lot of the fire Pokemon in the set discard a lot of energy. So if we don't have a card that synergizes and lets us gain back our energy from the discard pile, because we've seen Flareon EX do it, maybe there's a supporter card that does that too. Only time will tell. Yo, thank you so much, Arsena Plays, for the raid. Welcome on in. We're just doing a custom set review. So yeah, I think fire is a little lacking currently in this set. Okay, another EX, you guys. Let's hit that top deck. Let's go. All right, so Litwick is first. Find a friend, put up 1 random fire Pokemon from your deck into your head. Oh, bro, this by itself is so good, because it's literally Sprigatito, but for fire types. You could run this with Charizard, Steamzard, like you could run this with any other archetype and then guarantee that you're going to find your fire types. That's really good. Just think about it. Think about if other Pokemon types like lightning, water, fighting had a Sprigatito effect for them specifically. Huge buff to that entire archetype. So I think Litwick would be massive, bro. nobody cares about Caterpie, bro. Catter who? Oh, but no, you're right. Caterpie does the same thing. Lampint right here, 80 HP, deals 30 damage. And now let's see what the Chandelure EX, this is our 3rd EX so far. 170, stage 2, Cursed Light. If this Pokemon is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, the attacking Pokemon can't attack during your opponent's next turn. I mean, this is obviously countered by things like Celesteela and Buzzwole and stuff like that, those shenanigans. But this is like Rocky Helmet on crack, right? That's so good, bro. What? It's like your was it Amistar, but as an ability? That's pretty good. That's really good. So you better hope to one-shot this, or at least do enough damage to where your next Pokemon, if you retreat, can finish it up. Because even if this Pokemon goes down, right? Even if you do knock out this Pokemon, I think the ability still procs. So let's say you knock it out, you hit it with an active Pokemon, you retreat, you bring in another Pokemon to knock out this Chandelure. That Pokemon that you just brought in still can't attack. So you're losing a ton of energy trying to remove this one Chandelure EX, which I think makes it a very solid control Pokemon, which again makes me feel a lot better. The trade-off, Heat Blast being 70 damage only for 2 energy. I think it's pretty solid. 2 taps, Buzzwole. Exactly. Right. So I think that's pretty good. I think this is a really good card. You did wonders this set. So far, I think Chandelure EX would be a very meta card. I think this would be an insanely meta card just because of the low energy requirement to attack and the effect, bro. Like, what does your opponent do at that? What can they do at that point, bro? Sabrina and attack something else. All right, next up we have Heatmore, 100 HP, Charging Breath, 90 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon isn't burned, this attack does nothing. So you need to burn them. So that's kind of useless unless there's some sort of burn gimmick in this set. Larvesta, Live Coal for 20, retreats for 2. 80 HP, nothing too crazy. And then we have Volcarona for 120, 1 fire energy, Surging Flames, 30x. What does that mean? What does that do? This attack does 30 more damage for each fire energy card in your discard pile. All right, let's see real quick. So there we go. That is our first synergy with discard energy. So you could run this with Embor. Discard all your energy. Embor goes down. You're guaranteed to do 120 off of one energy. That's crazy, bro. That is insanity right there. That is so good. All right. Oh my God. Our fourth EX. Let's go. Let's get it. Reshiram EX, our final fire type. It's a basic, so this might be the next Palkia, 150 HP. It has the ability Turbo Blaze. Once during your turn, if Zekrom EX is on your bench, you may attach a lightning energy to this Pokemon. Oh, that's interesting. So this wants to run with Reshiram. I mean, not Reshiram, with Zekrom. I said the exact same name. Because its attack, Fusion Flare, deals 100 damage if this Pokemon has any lightning type. But let's just say you don't run that, right? Let's say you run the Magneton line. You could Dawn, you can Electrical Cord. So there are ways to get around it, specifically for Reshiram EX. Now, I don't know if Zekrom's going to get that same benefit, but I do like this. I like this a lot. It's more about the story and less about just making a very oppressive card, Giratina EX. So I do like this. I do like this. I think 100 for 3 with this ability, I think is great. I think it's supposed to be a gimmick card. It's not supposed to be a meta shifter. You could run Oricorio with this. Oh, spicy. No, that's pretty good. Zero with this. You're right. You could run Zero with this. Nah, there's a lot of stuff. And that's going to bring us into water type. All right, 2 types down. There's a bunch more to go, you guys. Feebas, Naps, heals 20 damage from this Pokemon. Hypno Slash for 60. Evolves into Milotic, 110 HP. Your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep. Not too bad. Oshawott, please be an EX. 60 HP. It beats for 10. And no EX. All right, Dewott, Water Gun for 30. Samurott, HP is 140. And then we have Aqua Wash for 90 damage. 3 energy. Move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to one of their benched Pokemon. Oh my God, this is great. So it's not like Team Rocket Grunt, but you can technically disrupt their energy flow, right? They're still going to keep the energy. So if they have something like Dawn in their hand, this does nothing. But I think it's kind of cheesy. Cheeky, if you will. That's what I meant to say. So it's pretty solid. Panpour for 60 HP, Water Gun for 20, nothing too crazy. Simipour, Water Pulse for 3 energy. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. A lot of sleep in water so far. Vibration for 20, Colorless. Timples, an HP of 50. I just don't like that. It's pretty low HP. You got to be quick on the evolution. Alpatoad, the Emperor, HP 90, Rain Splash for 40. 2 water energy, retreats for 2. And our next EX is Seismitoad EX right here. This art looks so good, dude. This looks so good. What the heck? How is this not official? 180 HP as a stage 2, 3 water energy, Tremulous Fist. I'm never going to be able to pronounce that correctly, so let's not pretend. This attack does 20 more damage for each of your benched Pokemon that has any damage on it. Okay, so it could do a maximum of 160 if all of your benched Pokemon have damage. Is Seismitoad like a really big threat from the official TCG? That's crazy. Yo, Seismitoad is such a good Pokemon. That would be so cool. Basculin is next. HP 80, Final Gambit 90, 2 water energy, 1 colorless, flip 2 coins. For each tails, this Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. And then we have Tortuga, 90 HP, Surfs for 50. It's literally Cranidos. I was about to say this is crazy, but it's literally Cranidos, which makes me feel like its evolution might be the new Rampardos. I'm kind of excited. Let's scroll down a bit. Caracosta, never mind. Okay. Caracosta is 160 HP. Primal Knowledge. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's basic Pokemon in play have no abilities. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Listen, if Dina is ever gonna give us a card that disables opposing Pokemon abilities, I need it to be this. Darkrai, Giratina, literally every basic Pokemon. The trade-off is this needs to be in the active spot. So like Oricorio, it doesn't really matter because it's still going down to a waterfall. EVEX, bro, EVEX is cooked because it says all of them in play. in play. This needs to stay in the active spot. Bro, no, this is crazy. This is so good. I wish this was a Greninja. Oh my God. This might be the best card of the set. And I was thinking it was going to be like Rampardos. I think this might be better than Rampardos. We need this ability on a basic. That doesn't make sense though. As long as this Pokemon's your opponent's basic Pokemon. I don't think that should be the case, because if it was on a basic, it's depending on whoever gets it first, right? Because if your opponent played the exact same Pokemon, they would have no ability because you played your first. I don't think that's a good mechanism. So I think disabling all basics, but being a stage 1 or stage 2 makes more sense. So that way both players have an option to play it into a mirror match. That's just how my brain works. All right, next up we have Ducklet, Rain Splash for 20, Air Slash for Swanna 90. Discard all energy from this. Yo, bro, Swanna's kind of crazy. 90 for 2? Bro, what? That's kind of crazy. It's insane, bro. That's really good. All right, moving on to Vanillite, Chili for 20, Vanillish, Icy Snow for 40, 70 HP. And then we have Vanillix, 130, Frozen Breath, 100. Discard 2 water energy from this Pokemon. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Listen, I'm not mad at this. You run this with something like Vaporeon with Washout, you could technically paralyze back to back and win games that way. I like that a lot. There's a lot of discard effects. I hope we're getting more discard synergy here. Frillish is next. Rain Splash for 20, 70 HP. Jellicent for 110 with Vengeful Wish. 30 if this Pokemon was damaged by an attack during your opponent's last turn. This attack does the same amount of damage to the defending Pokemon. Interesting. A lot of words there. Not really registering with me. Give me a second. So does this mean that like if we get hit with a 20 damage from like a Charmander or a Frillish, right? Does that mean the following turn we do 30 plus 20? Okay, cool. Yeah, a lot of words there. It took me a second. Next up is Alomola. No, I almost had it, bro. I was right there. Alomomola. There we go. I've been practicing that. A lot. Surf for 2 energy, 60, not too bad. Scrolling down, we got some more. We got Cupchew, Chili for 20, 70 HP, which is solid. I'm a huge fan of that. Into Beartic for 130 HP, 2 water energy, Igloo Hold, 30 plus. This attack does 30 more damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. So let's just say they have 4. This does 150. Is my math right? This would do 150 if you attacked into a Snorlax. I think that's right. I could be wrong. Math is not my strong suit. A Cryogonal, first freeze, 20 damage. If it's your first turn, your opponent's oh my God, bro. If it's your first turn, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. So there's 2 ways to play this. With a Misty, so you can attack turn 1 if you flip a heads. The only way. Or if you're going second, you need them to evolve, or else they can't do anything. If it's a basic Pokemon, guaranteed paralysis. I think it's a use case scenario. It really just depends on what you're going into, right? Paralysis means they can't switch out. So it gives you another turn to set up and potentially even switch out with this. All right, moving on. We have Kyurem for 110 HP. Frost Spear, 40 damage. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench. Solid. And then Kildeo. 4S1, 90 HP, 40 plus. If Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion are on your bench, this attack does 100 more damage. For 2 water energy. So it's 140 if you have all 3. Pretty solid. Another gimmick deck. It doesn't make it a bad card, but it's a fun card. It's a card for me, content creators. That's what I think. That's pretty solid. All right, moving on to Lightning, you guys. And we're getting our second or third ability so far. And so far, every single ability has been amazing. We have Blitzel first for 60 HP, 10 damage, Stomp, flip a coin if heads. The attack does 10 more. Awesome. Zebstrika, show me what you got, buddy. 100 HP. Zap Zone. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin if heads. We got Hypno, bro. We got Hypno in the form of paralysis. This is literally Hypno, but like juiced up on roids, right? Because sleep is cool. Sleep is awesome. Paralysis is insane. Paralysis, if you paralyze your opponent's Pokemon, they just can't do anything, bro. Unless they Nurse Joy or use the little donut from that one expansion that heals status affliction, which is kind of crazy. And it also crashing bolt for 50. Not too bad. Emolga's next, 60 HP, Electron Crush, 20 plus. You may discard an energy attached to this Pokemon. If you do, 50 damage. Bro, why wouldn't you? If you're running a deck that only uses 1 energy, let's say, you can literally just keep hitting 50, 50, 50, 50, right? It's pretty solid. Emolga. All right, let's keep moving. A Joltik, Nos for 20, Galvantula, Discharge 50 plus, discard all lightning energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 20 more for each. So it's kind of like the current one, but it just deals more damage and it doesn't retreat. Personally, I like the one that guarantees paralysis. This is cool though. This is very cool. I like the one that guarantees paralysis because it's the first of its kind, which is really cool, right? And it also retreats for free. I'm a huge fan of zero retreat costs. You just get so many more options in the game by doing that. Next up, we have Tynamo, Thunderwave, 10, flip a coin. If heads, they're paralyzed, 30 HP sucks. Moving on, still no EXs. Electric Ball for 2 energy, 50, 80 HP. Electros, Wild Charge, 150 is nothing to laugh at. Bro, you could ramp up to this so fast with a Magneton and Dawn or Zeraoras and Electrical Cord, and this only does 30 damage back to itself, okay? Electros right here is pretty solid. This is so good. Yeah, I think this would be very top meta. 150 is crazy, especially with the other, because you could essentially get this going by turn 2 if you went second with a rare candy and a Magneton and a Dawn on your bench. Stunfisk, discard a lightning energy from this Pokemon, 40 damage, 80, it's a basic, not too bad. And our next EX, I don't know how many EXs that is. Thunderous, 100 HP, discarded energy attached to this Pokemon, 3 energy, deals 90. And then we have Zekrom, 150, and it's literally the exact opposite of the Reshiram. Terravolt, if you have a Reshiram EX on your bench, you can attach a fire energy to this Pokemon. Okay. I'm trying to think here. How does this work? I mean, I guess you could run 2 Dawns, right? Reshiram has to be on your bench. So after 2 turns, I don't know how this works, guys, because you could technically run both with only 1 energy in your deck and then guarantee both of them deal 100 damage, you know? Fusion Bolt, if this Pokemon has any fire energy attached, this attack does 40 more damage. So here's the idea that I had real quick. If you're running a Dawn and an X-Speed, okay, and both of these Pokemon are on your bench, turn 1, turn 2, you can just pivot X-Speed into either of them, depending on what your energy is, Dawn the other one's energy to you. Honestly, you don't even need to do that. How do you do this on turn 1? You could do this turn 1, right? Dude, you can hit 100 damage turn 1. Okay, give me a Pokemon that only has 1 retreat cost. Let's say you have a Stunfisk, okay? It's crazy. You have a Stunfisk in the active spot. You play your Zekrom. You're going second. It's very important that you're going second. You play your Zekrom EX and you play your Reshiram EX. You activate both abilities. Now, both of them, this gets a fire energy. The other one gets a lightning energy, okay? You X-Speed, you go into your Zekrom, you give your lightning energy from your energy zone to this guy. Now he has fire and lightning. They need to start on your bench first, and then you don the other energy from your Reshiram onto your Zekrom, and you 100 damage turn 1, bro. What? Did anybody connect that? That's crazy. That's so good. Was that the intention with this? Or did I just come up with a strategy that you were like, bro, what? That's broken. That's so good. Heck, you could even run this with Hoppip and it'll retreat for free. Like, what are we talking about? That's so good. I love it. I love it. Okay, so now, even though I said earlier it was like a content gimmick, these 2 cards, there's a lot of ways to make it very advantageous, I think. All right, moving on. We are in psychic territory, you guys. Real quick, though, if you guys are enjoying, don't forget to like this video and stream. I appreciate you guys tremendously. Next up is Lunatone for 80 HP, Psyshock 40. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Pretty solid. Muna, Yawns, that puts him to sleep, and then Musharna. There used to be, when I first started streaming, one of my mods back in the day over on Twitch, this was their favorite Pokemon. Just kidding, they hated this Pokemon. 110 HP, Hypnoblast, 50 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep, this attack does 50 more damage. So it synergizes. On curve, you put them to sleep, they can't flip a heads to save their life. You evolve into Musharna and you slap them for 100. That's pretty good. Woobat, Air Cutter for 20, and then Swoobat. None of them retreat for free though, that stinks. 90 HP, Returning Echo for 50. Flip a coin if tails. Put this Pokemon in. Bro, I could have gone my whole life without seeing an effect like this. So Swoobat, you guys. Damages for 50. But if you flip a coin and hit tails, it goes back into your hand. You could lose the whole game. Whoa, Sigilyph. A lot of people are commenting on the Sigilyph. I didn't get that far. 80 HP. Victory symbol. If you use this attack when you have gotten 2 points, you win the game. No, bro. That's crazy. You guys know how you play this? Real quick, the best way to play this is with Lunala EX. Knock out one of their EXs, maybe even Tapu Lele and Cyrus. Okay, let me just paint you a picture real quick. You Tapu Lele, one of their EXs, you work on getting your Lunala EX online, bring it in, you Cyrus, you knock out that EX, maybe not even Tapu Lele because they need to have energy on their EX, right? And then the following turn, you just use Lunala EX's ability, move all the energy to Sigilyph, you win the whole game, bro. Dude, I wish these were real cards, man. I want to make these silly gimmick decks. Oh, man. I love it. All right, moving on. We have Yanmask, Rams for 20, Kufragrigus. Listen, I barely got the name right. No shot I'm getting this move. Damagrigus. Oh, wait, did I get that right? Do 40 damage to each Pokemon that has any ability, both yours and your opponent's. Oh, bro, hold on. Ability lockout entirely? Damagrigus right here? That's pretty solid. Gothita. Why did I say Gothita like that? Pounds for 10. Moving on, we have Gothorita, smacks for 30. And then we have Gothitelle, Mad Kinesis 30 plus. This attack does 20 more damage for each psychic energy attached to this Pokemon. Oh, this is Leafeon, right? But with at least 3 psychic energy, you're doing, what is it, 60? You're doing 90. 90 for 3, right? That's pretty solid. Next, we have Solosis, Rams for 20, 40 HPs. Not great, bro. Another ability coming up, Adhesion, smacks for 40, and then we have Reuniclus. Persistent Cells. If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, put this card into your hand instead of the discard pile. I think you could run a fully only Reuniclus deck. Yeah, Elder Lady Solosis. Yeah, exactly, dude. Third Reuniclus. And you could just keep playing it that way. The 120 HP doesn't feel great. There's a lot of things that can knock it out, but being able to, I don't know. I don't know if this is actually a good ability. I get it. It feels smart, but like, I don't know. Grandma would be 110% great in this deck, but the HP being at 120 makes it feel like it's not really offering too much. I think you need to play something else with it, right? I don't know what that other thing is, but I think you do. Next is Elgin. 60 HP, Headbutts for 10. Beheeyem, oh, we got one of my favorites, Golurk. This is also Royce's favorites. Beheeyem, 90 HP. Psybeam for 50. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Golitz, Rollout for 2. Still stinks as a Pokemon. And now let's see Golurk. 3 energy. Devolution Punch, De-Evolution Punch. I read it as Devolution because I can't read. 60 damage. Devolve the defending Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card on it into your opponent's hand. They keep all their damage, bro. This is a great way to counter. Oh my God, stage 2 EXs. It's going to require a little bit of math, but if you do the math correctly, you can hit something. Let's say Charmeleon at 90 HP. Or no, let's say, and I'm forgetting the fact that a lot of people use rare candy to evolve, which means Golurk gets rid of your evolution, and that player doesn't have a stage 1. So they just lose their evolution. Golurk is insane. Bye-bye rare candy. No, you're right. A lot more people are going to play the stage 1 Pokemon, which means Mars and Red cards viability goes up tremendously, even more now. Actually, maybe not, because set 1 we didn't have rare candy and no one was playing it and people only played it with rare candy. So yeah, maybe not, never mind. Charizard one-shots because the next card I think is an EX, you guys. Meloetta EX, a basic Pokemon, 130 HP, Enchanted Tune. If your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep, attacks used by your psychic Pokemon do 20 damage to your opponent's Pokemon. Interesting. So this is like a full sleep deck. You would need something, maybe a Hypno on your bench, and this is 110 damage. A Hypno on your bench, and your Mewtwo Your Giratina deals 150 if they're asleep. How to get them to sleep tutorial. Exactly. Nah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. All right, moving on to fighting. And I say this every single time. I just saw the first one. Never mind. I was going to ask for ramp, but they're giving us ramp with Zoroark. 80 HP as a basic. Soul charge. Attach a fighting energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. So it has to be from your discard pile. It's not official ramp, but it's pretty solid. Roggenrola, headbutt for 30. Boldor, 100 HP, 60 power gem for 3 energy. It's not great. Oh, another EX. We'll get to that in a second. Gigalith, rock bullet, 60 plus. This attack does 20 more damage for each fighting energy attached to this Pokemon. So a base. Oh, wow. This is going to do 120 for 4 energy. And then for each energy you attach it to it, maybe you run this with Pissimian EX, right? I think Gigalith is actually pretty solid. Not too bad. And then we have Drillbur for 60 HP. Mud Slap for 20, and then we have Excadrill EX, 160 stage 1. That's a really good stat line right there. It's not 180 like Gyarados, but it's still pretty good. And then for 2 energy, yo, Solgaleo EX. Solgaleo EX, my guy. There's a new sheriff in town. Step aside. For 2 energy, break ground, 120. This attack also does 10 damage to each of your... you know what? That's a good trade-off. That is a really good trade-off, especially if you don't run any other basic Pokemon. Especially if you only run Excadrill in your deck. Oh man, that's so funny. Like you can play this and then not even play your second Drillbur until the following turn. The turn where you give it energy, and then you could put it down, give it energy, attack again, 120. This is kind of solid. This is pretty good. It's like, do you guys think this is the worst Solgaleo or a better Solgaleo? I don't know. All right, moving on to another EX. I'm gonna lose it. This card looks so good. We have Timber for pound 10, Girder for 100, Hammer in 50, and then we have Conkeldurr EX, stage 2, 170. Craftsmanship. This Pokemon gets plus 10 HP for each fighting energy attached to it. What? Bro, this becomes the tankiest Pokemon in the game. If you have 3 energy attached, you're hitting for 100, but you also have 200 HP. Oh, you're right. Death by TRG would be hilarious. And also a mission of mine. The Immortal King. Every turn, if you play, oh my God, if you played this with Dusknoir, you can just keep giving it energy, keep giving it energy, keep giving it energy, have like 10 energy on this guy, and they bring you down low enough, Dusknoir. What do you do other than concede at that point? I love it, dude. Lily as well. That's crazy. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. All right, moving on, guys. Wow. Conkeldurr EX. I think Conkeldurr EX might be my favorite meme EX so far. Next, we have Throw for 100 HP, Seismic Toss 80. And then we have Sock, Righteous Kick 40. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Darkness Pokemon, it deals 80 damage. Not too bad. And then we have Dwebble for 70 HP. I do like that stat line. And it cuts for 1 and it deals 20 damage. Into Crustle that has 120 HP and Hard Press for 3 energy 70 during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes minus 20 damage. It's not too bad either. It's like a wannabe Golem, right? From Mythical Islands. No. Guzzlord doesn't exist anymore. Guzzlord is a myth of your imagination. It's a thing of your nightmares. It's not real, guys. It's not real. Next up is Archon, 80 HP, Flaps for 40, and then Archeops, 130 HP, Swift Dive, 100 minus. This is the first time I've seen minus. It says if this Pokemon's remaining HP is 70 less, this attack does 50 less damage. That is so authentic to the actual Pokemon and the ability from the game, right? What was the ability? It says like if its HP is less than half, its attack stat gets like halved or something. Pretty solid. It had one of the highest attack stats in the game. Defeatist, that's what it is. Yeah, your boy used to play competitive, which is why I'm very excited for Champions. Real quick sidebar, follow my Champions channel if you haven't already. Anyway, back to this. Mienfoo, knock off 10, discard a random card from your opponent's hand. I like this. I like this. This, okay, I know you didn't just try to slide in one of the best fighting control cards without me, without any of us, like you thinking none of us would see this. Mienfoo is a basic that doesn't say flip a coin. It doesn't say send it back to their deck. It says guaranteed discard a random card from your opponent's hand. In a 20 card deck where you could only have a max copy of a card for 2 copies, Mienfoo is like insane right here. This is so strong. No shot I was going to skip over that. You almost had me. I was like, wait a second. That stat line sucks. Wait a second. That effect though. Mian Shao. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 50 damage for each head, so you can do up to 100 for 1 energy. I have a Terrakion Dilemma. All right, let's go here. I haven't gotten to Terrakion yet. 120 HP, 3 energy, Cavern Counter, 80 plus. If all of your benched Pokemon have damage on them, this attack does 60 more damage. Okay, so what you're telling me is you're playing this with... Where's he at? Excadrill EX. So it's 120 into 140. But you still need to get all this energy on here, which could be an issue. Yeah, the Excadrill EX would be an insane combo. And then we have Landorus. Power Cyclone 50. Moving energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. We have ramp, guys. We have ramp. I'm so happy we have ramp. Moving energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. It's not the best ramp, but listen, we'll take it. Not too bad. Again, guys, real quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, like the video, like the stream. What the heck are you doing, guys? Come on now. Moving on to Darkness. Survivor Crosscut 30 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, this attack does 50 more damage. Pretty good. Purloin, Scratch for 10, Liepard, Torment for 40, 90 HP. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks. This is Pokemon. That Pokemon can't use the attack during your opponent's next turn. Bro, imagine tormenting a Steamzard and choosing their Stoke. I don't know. I think that's kind of funny. Maybe I'm a troll. Maybe I'm toxic. But I think tormenting a Steamzard and saying, you can't Stoke, and then having them given energy after energy after energy, and then using Team Rocket Grunt. Or after they get all the way up to their 5 energy, saying, hey, you can't use Steam Artillery now. Bro, that is so stupid. I love it. I love it. Liepard would be so good. Oh my God. A lot of phones would break. If you allowed me to build a deck with Liepard, a lot of phones would be broken, I think. All right, next up is Venipede. Tackles for 10, Whirlipede, rollout for 40, and then Scolipede, 140, Poison Ring, 60 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. That Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. So not only are they poisoned, but they're trapped. That is very strong. That is insanely strong. If you're running something like a Nihilego set with this essentially is 100 damaging trap move because you hit 60, right? It's actually more than 120. Oh my God, it's 140. It's 140, you guys. You trap them. If you have double Nihilegos, that's 20. That's 40 damage. It's their turn. That's 100. By the time it's your turn again, they're trapped. It's another 40 damage. They've taken 140 by the time it's your turn again. That's crazy. Huge fan. Let's see if you did some justice to Krookodile, because Krookodile got no justice in the last set. So good. Wait, it's 30? You're right. It is 30. It is 30. My mistake, guys. For whatever reason, I thought it was plus 20. My brain has been all over the place these past couple days. You're right. Still, though, let's remove 40 damage from what I just said. It is 100. It is a max of 100, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, though. Am I? 120, right? By the time it's your turn again, they would have taken 120 damage. It's still a lot. Yeah. All right, Sandile tackles for 10, Krookodile bites for 30, retreats for 2, and then Krookodile 140, Chomp bite. In case you were wondering what it was doing, it was chomping and then biting. 70 damage, move and energy attached to the defending Pokemon to one of your opponent's bench. So a little bit disruption there. Or honestly, a little bit of helping your opponent. Really depends on how you want to look at it. All right, Scrafty. I want to throw this out there. This is one of my, this is my sister's favorite Pokemon, Scrafty. So I can't wait until Scrafty actually makes it into the game. Scraggy, 60 HP, rams for 20. Scrafty is 100 HP. Bad Brawl, 50 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, this attack does 50 more damage. Huge fan of that. I am a huge fan of that. Scraggy. Oh, this is a typo here. It's okay. What is this Pokemon's name? It's the trash. Trubbish. 60 HP. Poison gas. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. And then Garbodor. Oh, our next EX, guys. Our next EX, we have Garbodor, Tranchalanche. That's a good name. I like that. 20X. This stack does 20 damage for each trainer card in your opponent's discard pile. Silvalley's been real quiet. Silvalley's been real quiet when my mountain of trash came a knocking. Next up, we have Zorua, 60 HP, scratches for 20. And then we have a Zoroark EX, HP 140. Stage 1, Illusion Swarm 30X. This attack does 30 damage for each benched Pokemon in play. Oh, that means you can do a max of 180, right? Did I get that math right? Both sides for each benched Pokemon in play. So what I think is you play this with fossils, you play this with Pokeflutes, and you one-shot everything in the game. Yeah. Bro, this is so good for 2 energy is crazy. I like the trade-off of it having 140 HP. I do think it needs to be low. So that does feel pretty respectable. All right, moving on to Volibee. Razor Wing for 10, Mandibuzz 90, Bone Drop. This attack does 50 damage to one of... Oh, as an ability. Okay, so there is a trade-off. I was about to say sniping for 1 energy is insane, bro. But it needs the trade-off that they have an ability, right? So that's not too bad, actually. Greninja, watch out. There's a new sniper in town. Dino, 60 HP, Rams for 10. I was hoping Hydreigon was going to be an EX too. We have Zwillius, Headbutts for 30, 100 HP. And then we have Hydreigon, 150, Dark Aura. All energy attached to this Pokemon are darkness energy instead of their usual type. Interesting. It's not bad, right? But if they leave this Pokemon, they go back to being their official type, I imagine. Yeah, you can give it any energy. Cool, man. That's really good. That's a really good ability. It's a really good ability. Okay, we're moving on to Metal. Excadrill for 2 metal energies does Seal Shell attack for 70. Not too bad, 100. I think the other one's better. That snipes the bench. Ferroseed tackles for 20, and then Ferrothorn is 120 HP. Spinning Needles 40. During your next turn, this Pokemon Spinning Needles does 40 more. So it goes 40, and then on curve goes 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, wins the whole game. Phenomenal stuff right here. Throwing a Rocky Helmet for some real synergy. Then we have Clink, Beams for 20, 60 HP. Clang for 90 HP, Spinning Attack for 40, and then Clink, Clang. See what I did there? 150 HP, Triple Smash, 70X, flip 3 coins. It's literally a Alolan Duck Trio, but for a little bit more damage. It's the same concept and 1 more energy. Moving on to Poniard, 60 HP. Oh, do we get Bisharp here? I hope we do. I don't think we do, though. 60 HP, Pierces for 20, Bisharp 90 HP, Metal Wallop, 50 damage during your next turn. This Pokemon's Metal Wallop does so on curve 50 to 100. It's really good. Next, we have Durant here for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let me stop. HP 80, Vengeful Crush, 30 plus. This attack does 20 more damage for each point your opponent has taken. So at most, it's only really going to be helpful for 70 for 2 energy. Not too bad, right? Moving on, we have a couple other ones. Oh, we're going into a Dragon type next. Cobalion, Iron Breaker, 40 damage. Flip a coin. If heads during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't attack. And then we have Genesect, HP 100, Destructor Beam for 40. Flip a coin. If heads, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Flip a coin. If heads, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. It is a coin flipper though, but you can derail your opponent's kind of like their flow, if you will. All right, moving on to Dragon types. Metal Fighting. Oh, this is gonna be tough, right? No, this is gonna be tough. Is there anything that generates metal energy for itself? Doesn't require metal energy. No, right? Scratch 20. Fracture, Dragon Claw for 60, and then Haxorus, 150, flip 2 coins. This attack does 120 for each heads. So Haxorus has the chance to knock out everything in the game if you get lucky and flip 2 heads. So when I was asking for a metal ramper, what I mean is like, is there anything that ramps metal energy that doesn't require metal energy itself? So like Magneton ramps lightning energy, but doesn't require lightning energy, right? I think lightning is the only thing that does that, which makes sense because lightning, electricity, energy, blah, blah, blah. It makes sense. Oh, Druddigon. Okay, Druddigon 100 HP, 1 energy, Dragonic Charge 20. Take a random energy from your discard pile and attach it to one of your dragon Pokemon. All right, never mind. I take it back, guys. Bro, I take it back. This is pretty solid. Dragonic Charge is finally, it makes sense. It makes sense. This would be such a good card. It would literally, yeah, all dragon decks would rise up after this. All right, moving on. to colorless before we go into our trainer cards, guys. Swablu, Pex for 20, Altaria 100 HP. Each of your colorless evolution Pokemon has no weakness. So all of your colorless evolution Pokemon become dragon types. They become dragon types because Altaria, oh my god, that's so good. So good. That took so long for my little brain to connect. Tempting Toot is so good. And then we have Zangoose, 80, Cutting Claw. If your opponent has a Survivor in play, this attack does 50 more damage. Next up is Braviary, try bouncing. All right. 40, flip a coin if tails, this attack does nothing. Lopunny, 90 HP, Happy Turn. 60, you may shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck. You may shuffle, which means it's a choice. You may also not shuffle if you don't want to. Patrat, 60 HP, glance, look at the top card of your opponent's deck. That's not bad for damage. Proclamation, Lillipup. Watchog, Hyper Fang, 60, flip a coin if tails, this attack does nothing. Not too bad. Free Illima? Yeah, I guess you're right, but this goes into your deck. It doesn't go into your hand. Lillipup, knock away 10, flip a coin if heads, deals 20 more. Herdier, 40 damage for 2, and let's see what this Stoutland does. Is it better? For 2 energy, hammer in, 60 plus attack does 20 more damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Unfortunately, the other official Stoutland, their ability only procs if you're in the active spot. So, or else this would be so good. Pidove, glides for 20, Tranquil, flaps for 40, 80 HP. Unzafant has 140 HP, discarded energy from this Pokemon for 100 damage for 3, not too bad. Minchino, Tail Slash for 10x, flip 3 coins, attack does 10 damage for each heads. Chinchino's 90 HP, Tail Smack, not too bad. And then we have Bouffalant, Smashing Headbutt, 120, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. Not a fan of that. I mean, it's pretty good damage, right? But like, you're still losing so much energy. Rufflet, Pex for 20, 60 HP, and then Braviary, drag off, switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. This attack does 40 damage to the new active Pokemon. So you get to choose which Pokemon you're bringing in. Bro, what? That's crazy. This is like an insane gust effect. Oh my god. I'm thinking, yeah, it destroys fossils for sure. Fossils just don't exist with Braviary. But also, like, this seems like a very strong effect. You can bring in something like maybe not a Snorlax, something that's not a colorless where they can just Illima out, hit them because they have a high retreat cost, and then just keep cycling that or even switching something in to snipe something else. Pretty solid. Tornadus is 90 HP, Twister Throw 40 plus. If you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, this attack does 40 more damage. And there you guys have it. That's every single Pokemon, but we're not done yet. Remember, I told you we have promos and we have trainer cards. So we have the fossils, we have Tool Scraper, our first item card. Discard a Pokemon tool card from the Pokemon in play, yours or your opponent's. Energy Retrieval, flip a coin if heads, attach a random energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. That could be so good, man. That could be so good. This is helping water, this is helping fire, and this is helping fighting because they had a lot of discard synergy. So that's really good right there. But you have to flip a coin and you have to flip heads. Air Balloon is our new tool here. The retreat cost of this Pokemon is 1 less with Air Balloon. That could be really good. Burning Scarf. If the Pokemon this card is attached to and the act is damaged, it's Rocky Helmet, but burns, which synergizes with the brand new Heatmore. That deals, what was it, 100 damage? Pretty solid. And then we have Bianca. All right, we're in our supporter card phase. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think, guys. We have Bianca here. Heal 40 damage from your active EX Pokemon. Solid. I give it a 4 out of 5. Feel like, especially if you're running basic Pokemons, it's not a Lily, but it helps you keep your Giratinas and stuff like that alive. I think you run this over Nurse Joy if you're running like a Giratina or a Darkrai or stuff like that. Next up is Caitlyn. During your opponent's next turn, if their active Pokemon is affected by any special conditions, it can't leave the active spot. Throw this in with the Meloetta, right? The Hypno strategy is you sleep them and they're trapped, or even poison. If you poison them, they're trapped. This could be pretty good. This could be pretty good. Next up, we have Chili, Cillian, and Cress. It's literally Berry. During this turn, attacks used by those 3 monkeys cost 2 less, so they only cost 1 energy. Next up is Elisa. Heal 20 damage from one of your lightning Pokemon for each lightning energy attached to it, which could be kind of cracked depending on how much lightning energy you have. I think specifically Electros would really benefit from this because it deals 30 to itself, but it'll heal up to 60. So you can hit 150 back to back with Electros, and then the third turn, Elisa, fully heal, which is the dumbest thing ever, bro. Oh my God, I love it. I love it so much. But it's only one of your lightning Pokemon. Next up, we have Hilda. You can use this card only if your opponent has gotten at least 2 points. I'll be honest, guys, I'm not a huge fan of like Lusamine cards that require certain conditions to be met on the board. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't got time to remember all these conditions, but let's see what it has. I think it's going to be very strong. During this turn, attacks used by your evolution Pokemon do plus 30 damage to your opponent's active basic Pokemon. There's so many conditions to this that I just don't think it's good. I really don't think like your opponent has to have an active basic. They also need to have 2 points and your Pokemon has to be evolved. I don't know. There's too much going on here. Maybe plus 100 for all of that. You know what I'm saying? Which sounds ridiculous, but there's just too many conditions. Yeah, I think the red would definitely be better for only a plus 30, which is kind of, yeah, exactly. Maybe plus 60 damage, or it needs to be something outrageous for these conditions to be met, in my opinion. Iris, during your opponent's next turn, they can't take any energy from their energy zone. Bro, imagine playing this turn 1. This helps you counter going first. Imagine playing this turn 2. This stops your opponent from playing the game. This is so dope. I love it. Oh man, I wish it was a real card, bro. Oh, it'd be so good. Oh, there's N. Okay, during your opponent's next turn, Pokemon with abilities cannot attack. Bro, that's pretty good. Next up, we have Skyla. During your opponent's next turn, they can't play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their rare candies. Who, bro? This is literally Aerodactyl. If you're afraid, like, yo, if my opponent plays a Steamzard, I lose next turn. Skyla. Let me just knock out this Charmander real quick. This is better than Aerodactyl because it's not just limited to the active Pokemon. This says they can't play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their Pokemon. So it's very, very strong. Also, N is pretty good too, yeah. Moving on, I think that's it. We're going to go into our promos next. These are all the nice arts. I like the Victini. The Tepic is cute. Kyurem. I think I'm going too fast. Let me go a little bit slower here. There we go. We'll just quickly look at all these beautiful cards together. Volcarona is nice. Milotic's pretty good. I didn't want to skip through, especially with Cuptinice putting so much effort. Oh, the Keldeo is so nice. Huge fan of that. Sigilif is a god. Love these designs. They're so chill. Reuniclus is probably my favorite so far. Beheeyem, cool. Scolipede, Garbodor, Obalion, Genesect is pretty nice. Tornadus. All right, and now we're going into our 2 stars. Serperior EX, Chandelure, beautiful stuff. Zekrom, Reshiram. All these look really good. All these look really good for the EXs. Speaking of EXs, if you could only choose one EX from today's video, guys, which ones would be your favorite? Now we're looking at the full arts. Elisa, Hilda is like a looker, like it's useless. And Skyla must have rainbow borders. I'm going to slow it down just a bit, okay? Chandelure EX must have honestly, these are all so good. Seismitoad looks really funny. Meloetta EX looks good. Excadrill looks good. Bro, all these look so good. They look so good, bro. Oh, man. On Kelder, then we have Reshiram EX and Zekrom EX. Oh, I love these. Shout out to Cuptinice for this set. Here's our shinies. We'll zoom through. Butterfree, Monferno. Oh, are we getting Gyarados? Bro, are we getting a Gyarados? A Garchomp? Bro, red Gyarados. If I'm not hunting for a red Gyarados, I'm not a real fan. I'm not a real Pokemon fan. It's pretty solid. And then here are our crown rares, you guys. All right, now we're going into the promos, which I promised from the start. Getsis. Draw a card from the bottom of your deck. Bro, what? Draw a card from the bottom of your deck. That's so funny to me. Is there anything in the game that says put a card to your bottom? I mean, this could help you if you're bricking and your rare candy or something is in the bottom 2 cards, right? Imagine if Getsis is at the bottom, bro. Honestly, it's better than Hilda. I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we have this Meloetta. A Prima Ronda right here, 30 plus. If this Pokemon has any fighting energy attached to it, it does 50 more damage. So it'll do 80 damage. These are all promos right here. Zoroark, double claw, 50x, flip 2 coins. This attack does 50 damage for each heads. Kyurem, flip a coin if heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned for 50. White Kyurem and then black Kyurem. Flip a coin if heads is paralyzed. And we still have some more. I thought we were done. Emolga, you may discard energy. Same thing. Peck, same exact thing we already went over, guys. And there you guys have it. That is the custom set by Cuptinice, Shattered Harmony, Reshiram, Zekrom. Let me know in the comments which EXs are your favorite, which strategies would you love to have in the official Pokemon Pocket game. I mean, there are some that like the Whimsicott EX, man, with the Dusknoir. What? It would be so much fun. But there you guys have it. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more. In fact, there should be another custom set review, and this one's even spicier, dare I say, tomorrow. So thanks guys for watching. I'll catch you in that one later.